second. So we had a audience question, and we had them in the audience as well. They asked, and we're gonna go back and forth with you in the chat here. So stand by. So the question in the chat was, all right. So, hello, sir. I'm a student at community college trying to earn some credits for UNT. So it sounds like they might be in the DFW area. I am mostly taking my core classes there. I want to get those out of the way first. I plan on taking some classes before heading into my program, things like 3D printing and intro to design classes to help make the learning process easier for me. My main goal is to go into UNT's Mechanical Engineering Energy program. I want to take those classes and get a good degree in it. Also wanted to try and learn some skills in engineering technology to make me more employable. My main goal is to work in the field of instrumentation or powertrain. I was wondering if I can do both. I would like your advice on this stuff, please. And I wrote them a response, and my clarifying questions were, do they want to work in vehicles, um, or they want to work in what do they want to work in specifically? What industries? And they clarified that for powertrain they mostly meant engines or people that focus on powertrain components such as the engine, transmission, drive shaft, transfer case, axles, and differentials, as well as the supporting software and electronics that you find in modern vehicles. So it sounds like this person is really interested in working on powertrain engineering, so for vehicles. So they asked about UNT's mechanical and energy engineering program, and it sounds like, oh, it's about machines and then energy. Um, so specifically this program, again, I'm not the most proficient in this program, but my it looks like it kind of focuses um on energy generation from like I don't know, whenever I work in energy and chemicals, so when I hear energy generation, I think of like energy and chemicals. But I guess that, and it kind of depends on, you kind of have to ask the people that are running the program, is this the program, tell them like, hey, I want to work on powertrains. Is this the program that you offer that fits the best with that? Because I know that either the dean of the engineering department or the admissions person that's focused on engineering admissions, that if you give them an idea of what you want to work on, then then they're going to be able to kind of help you out. Though I'd say that, like, if I was wanting to work in the automotive industry or on vehicles, and I wanted to work on engines and powertrains and stuff like that, I don't know about you, Luke, but I would kind of venture more towards just a mechanical engineering degree. I mean, I don't know if automotive engineering is a thing, but I know that a lot of the those companies that do those types of things, they'll employ mechanical engineers, they'll employ electrical engineers, they'll employ all different types of engineers, right, to do different roles. So if you're coming in as a college hire, you know, I think that the easiest way to get hired by one of these companies is to have a degree that is something that they can recognize. And they might recognize a mechanical and energy engineering degree because it has mechanical engineering in it and it's ABET accredited, so that's good. But they might even be a little bit more comfortable with just a mechanical engineering degree. And but what do you think about that?
So I think first you probably want to take a step back a little bit and
Yeah.
do similar to what Daniel's saying. So I think typically whenever you see a degree that's focusing on power or energy, it's typically more a power generation. And whenever it's power generation, you're looking at really big combustion engines, you're looking at turbines, you're looking at stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's
Like
going to
the
be,
Wärtsiläs of the world, right? Those are like simple cycle engines for industrial power applications.
yep. So you're
So that
looking at something that's going to make hundreds of megawatts of power, not something that's specifically for a smaller ICE or internal combustion engine, right? So something for a vehicle. If it sounds like what you want to do is you want to be an R&D,
Mhm.
or if you want to do some design work for vehicles. I don't know about you, Daniel, but I don't think I know anybody that ended up in that career path. I don't know how lucrative it is to end up there.
I don't know anybody
Um,
personally, unfortunately, so I'm definitely not a subject matter expert on that for sure. Yeah.
yeah, but I think I think probably what you want to do is, and we talked about it a little bit, is how to set yourself up for success. You know, whenever you're picking a school or whenever you're picking a career, you probably want to find out. Go to LinkedIn and see if you can find people that are in R&D for that kind of stuff, and see what they do. Because there's a good chance that people that are doing R&D for any sort of vehicle or automotive, they may have masters and PhD degrees. Um, Now, you asked about the difference between powertrain and instrumentation. So um, powertrain is probably going to be more on the lines of working with the combustion engine, and then also with the transmission, like the gears and all that kind of stuff, to output that mechanical energy into your drive shaft, and then into your into the tires, or into your differential and your axles. Instrumentation is going to be different because it's more of an electrically driven thing, and it's going to be more of electrical slash
Control
computer,
systems.
yeah, control systems.
Yeah.
um so I don't know if there's something, I don't know if there's going to be a degree that can be all encompassing for both those things, unless you want to get a mechanical engineering degree with the focus on, you may have to get something that's not even necessarily focused on power. You may want to get something that's more focused on the power transmission part of it. So something that's more focused on statics and dynamics and that sort of stuff, as opposed to the thermodynamic properties of, what's going on within that combustion engine. But I don't know if there's something that you can do that's going to be that, as well as tie in with a instrumentation degree. And if you do, that's going to end up being, probably you're going to have to get a mechie degree and an electrical engineering degree, or you're going to have to
No.
get.
No. Not both. Come on. No, but
I
you can
I
take
mean I think
elective. You can take electives. All right. So let's back out. Let's back out. So you have to take you have to take entry level. Like for example, if you're a mechanical engineer, you're gonna take a. Did you take a circuits class, Luke?
yeah, I took a
Okay,
circuits
you
class.
took a physics class for electromagnetism. So you took the prerequisites for electrical engineering electives. So for example, you could take an elective course. You don't have to you can get a mechanical engineering degree or whatever this. I don't know how narrow this mechanical and energy degree program is. Because I wouldn't say that there's a job title out there that is mechanical and energy engineer. There's mechanical engineers that work in the energy industry, but I wouldn't say that there's a job title called mechanical and energy engineer. Not that I've ever seen before. But say, for example, if this person wanted to work on engines, I was a mechanical engineer. That's what I studied in college, mechanical engineering. I took an elective course on engines, right? So
Yep.
I learned about the different. I learned about. Did you take an elective course on engines, Luke?
No, they didn't offer it, but they
Yeah.
typically have one.
Yeah, and then I have a friend that went and got his master's degree and focused in turbine engines. So like if you're really specific in certain type of power generation and certain types of engines, or anything like that, then there's master's degree programs that allow you to focus on that, right? But I wouldn't recommend trying to split yourself into two undergraduate degree programs. And yeah, I mean this program, it looks like it's focused in mechanical and it also has some direction that sends you into the energy industry or energy generation. So I think that this is kind of an example of what I kind of created for myself. And but would you necessarily have to get a? Sorry for coming in and just saying no off the bat, but I just want to advise hardly strongly against getting two undergraduate engineering degrees.
Well, it was more along the lines of, if you wanted to do both. Like, I don't know if they're going to take someone that has. I don't know if you're going to be able to fill the roles of an instrumentation or an electrical engineer without
Yeah,
a very strong electrical engineering background. So
yeah,
if you want to end up in a position where you do both, but if you want to work in the energy industry, which it looks like that's kind of what you're saying, there are definitely opportunities for you, and there are definitely things that you can do that is going to be around a lot of thermodynamics of energy and power generation, and also transfer of energy. And like, it doesn't necessarily, I know a lot of people, whenever they think of energy transfers, or energy, or power, a lot of times they go back to automotive. But you could go work for Siemens, you can go work for Mitsubishi, you can go work, I mean, you could work in a manufacturing setting for an automotive company like Ford and GM or not GMC, Ford and
Chevrolet,
Chevy,
General
yeah, or
Motors, yeah.
GM, yeah, Ford and GM, and Nissan has a plant in Tennessee, somewhere around the Nashville area. So like you can go work with cars, or you can go work in something that's going to do similar to what an internal combustion engine would do, and it not necessarily be something like on a vehicle. So, but if you want to look for something that's like really lucrative, like R&D for, Lamborghini or Ferrari, like you're gonna have to. That's a very, very lucrative career path, and something that you're definitely gonna require a lot of work to end up in that position.
Exactly. And for an example right here, General Motors has a position for their summer internship for sustainable workplaces in mechanical and electrical engineering. And specifically, they're looking for pursuing a bachelor's degree in mechanical or electrical engineering. That is that is what they're looking for. So that's why I said that, like, I wouldn't completely advise against going into this program, but like a lot of the big companies that are out there, they're going to be looking for like your typical mechanical
Mhm.
or electrical engineering degree. We're kind of all over the place here. We got somebody in the chat that's asking questions live, so that's kind of why we're bouncing all over the place. But yeah, exactly. So working in the energy industry, which is like what I guess I could say I work in the energy industry.
Yeah, no, you do.
You work in consumer products, right? Is
Yeah,
kind of where, yeah, you
yeah,
work in consumer
consumer
products,
goods.
but yeah, as somebody that works in the energy industry, there's plenty of ways to get involved with just a mechanical engineering degree or an electrical engineering degree. I am a mechanical engineer that works in the energy industry, but I don't do any mechanical engineering design myself, which is a whole other thing we could get into at another point in the time. But yeah, we thank you so much for sending in the email and for engaging in the chat. The other thing I guess I'd close out with is um, the fact that you're early in your community college, and you're starting to think about where you want to work pretty early on is phenomenal, and keep on keeping up that mentality towards your education is your investment in your future for your career, and that'll serve you really well if you continue to advocate for yourself and continue to ask those questions, and please continue to write into the podcast, and we will do our best to keep on answering. I don't know. I was gonna say something else, and then I kind of lost my train of thought. Luke, am I missing anything?
No, I don't think so. I mean, keep us in the loop. I want to know how it pans out, and if you do end up in one of those roles, I kind of want to see what your career path takes you down, and what those opportunities look like. So if you need any specific help, or if you're looking for any sort of specific advice, maybe there's a chance to include it in the podcast. But I'm sure Daniel will be more than willing to help out, and maybe you're looking for connections, or how to start that internship process, and looking for internships and stuff like that to put you into that field. I'm sure Daniel can help you out, and I'd be more than willing to help out too. And we have
Yeah.
a couple of connections too, so maybe we can provide help down the road.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I remember what I was going to say now. What I do is, since you're not in this program yet, again, whenever you're applying into the program or considering, you're evaluating this program. Not only are you applying to try to get in, but you're also evaluating the program, right? So whenever you're talking to the school, ask them what kind of companies do people that get this degree tend to work in? Where do they end up going? And that kind of give
Yes.
you an idea of where that degree is kind of focused, and whether or not that's a good fit for what you want to do. And the other thing I'd want to recommend you do, is that go look at the types of companies you want to work for. If you want to work for Ford, if you want to work for Chevron, you want to work for Shell, you want to work for General Motors. First of all, go to their websites and look at their internships and their college hire programs. A lot of these big companies, their college hire programs are pretty explicit on what degrees they're looking for. and see if they're looking for your degree. And if they're not naming your degree, I mean, I am dead serious. I flew across the country to go to a national career fair. I interviewed with a major electronics company. By interview, I went up to their booth and I said, "Hey, I'd like to apply. Here's my resume." They looked at my resume. They said, "What is this degree?" And it's Bachelor of Science in Engineering Science. I studied mechanical engineering, and they're like, "So like engineering and technology?" I said, "No, mechanical engineering." They're like, "Well, it doesn't say that." And I was like, "Well, that's what it is." And they're like, "Well, sorry, we work in HR and we're only allowed to recruit people that have a Bachelor of Science in mechanical engineering." I mean, some people, it depends on the company. And I was like, "Okay, fine, this is not the company I want to work for." But if you want to work for that kind of company, some of those companies, they have filters on your applications. They will filter you out just simply by the name of your degree. So something to keep in mind. Um, that's why I always kind of say stick with the big ones: mechanical, electrical, chemical. But I mean, you do you. I'm sure that UNT does a good job of marketing their degree and their students that are in that degree program. So, anyways, that is the that's the advice on this one, and we'll talk to you more about it if we go back and forth some more. Thanks so much for watching this episode of the Engineering Success Podcast. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All of your comments create extra reach so that more people can watch the
They
podcast.
heard the kid in 50 countries, thank God that's amazing. But I'd rather thank Spotify, they put me on the station.